few weeks ago, I brought to the attention of the Senate the continuing new challenges that we have with the internet, and the fact that so much material is available to all, including our youngest citizens, indeed our toddlers. The question is, what is appropriate content for our toddlers? Google has put up a YouTube application for kids. They call it YouTube Kids. And Madam President, I'd like to show you some of the content on that application. First of all, I think that's self-explanatory. How to open a beer with another beer. Now, mind you, this is a YouTube Kids application. This can go down to the toddler age. How to open a beer with another beer. And it goes through the sequence. Indeed, there's another fairly graphic picture of how to open a beer with a beer. Is that appropriate for young children? Readily available? Promoted by Google? I would doubt that we would conclude that it is. All right, here's another one. This is wine tasting tips. What is tannin in wine? Identifying acidity in wine. Here is the cutest baby song in the world, Everybody Dance Now. That doesn't look too bad. Here's Alvin and the Chipmunks. Nursery rhyme for babies, but when you play it, there's some unusual words in there, and so forth and so on. You get the picture. This is for children. This is for little ones. Okay, now here is making sulfuric acid in 2 ways. Is that appropriate for toddlers? Give you another one. This is how to make toxic chlorine gas. Is that appropriate for young children? I don't think so. So I wrote Google. And fortunately, Google responded. And I want to share with the Senate what I think are steps in the right direction, but it's not enough. For example, I had asked, what policies and procedures govern the inclusion of the videos on this app? And the answer in the Google letter is that Google uses algorithms that govern the automated system. Parents can notify Google of problem videos. Google will be informing parents on how to change its settings and to allow parents to be more restrictive with the range of videos their kids can access. Well, why should parents have to intercede when their algorithms, if you type in a search for beer, what I showed you is what comes up. How to open a beer with another beer. That seems contrary to common sense. So then we ask, what factors determine whether content is suitable for children. And Google's answer is an automated system and parental complaints. So I ask in my letter, for what age range must content be suitable? Google did not answer that question. So I additionally ask, what steps, such as filtering, does Google take to ensure unsuitable content does not appear in search results on YouTube Kids? Do these steps apply to new content uploaded to YouTube Kids? And Google's answer was, Google uses algorithms in the automated system. Google will soon be informing parents on how to change settings and restrict the range of videos. The same answer as applied to a previous question. So I ask, how long after content is flagged does Google assess its suitability? And the answer is quite unclear. The statement was in this letter, Google personnel quickly manually review any videos that are flagged. So I additionally ask, how does Google remove content that is deemed unsuitable for YouTube Kids and ensure that it continues to be inaccessible to YouTube Kids? And the answer from the letter is that the video is manually removed by Google employees. That's the automatic way of what is deemed unsuitable to ensure that it continues to be inaccessible. And so I ask, what policies and procedures govern how Google determines the suitability of advertisements and whether they can appear on this app? And the answer is, advertising must abide by 3 core principles, which include that ads maintain an appropriate viewing environment and that they not be based on data tracking and that they are formatted to enable exclusive YouTube Kids control. That's nice. How do we get those beer advertisements off of there? And then I ask, what policies and procedures does Google use, if any, to distinguish advertisements and paid content from unpaid content on YouTube Kids? And the answer is, paid advertisements are clearly labeled. Madam President, you know, we have constantly had this tension between any publication as to what is appropriate content. The movie industry years ago went through this with the rating system. But now we're in the age of the internet, and as such, it is ubiquitous, and it's available to very small children who want to know how to use a device that they see everybody else using. On an application that is specifically designed for children, if we allow this kind of stuff to go on, then where are our common sense values? Because you don't want to be teaching a toddler about beer and wine and about how to open a beer bottle with your teeth. And you certainly don't want to be throwing up pictures like this for toddlers. Maybe there's a time and place for that under the parental discretion and guidance, but not available on an app for children. I want to thank Google publicly for making a first step, but it is only that. It's a first step. Since this is an app by Google for small children, Google has a responsibility. If there is a privilege of doing an app like this, then there must be accountability. And Google has to accept that responsibility to be accountable.